or not, but my problem is my app's not connecting to it.
Good afternoon. Going to call the meeting to order for the March 16th Planning Commission meeting. Termination of a quorum. Everyone's present except Mr. Rice. If you would, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And then the first thing we got is read and approve the minutes from the February 16th meeting.
I haven't seen them.
I was about to say, I glanced at them, but I didn't read them in detail, but I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Anybody second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, no.
I'll abstain.
Yeah, abstain, yeah. Hey, Samuel, is anybody taking notes on this, or who's... Okay. I just want to make sure somebody's taking notes. Okay. Next up, we have general public comments for items not on the agenda. If anybody wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda. And seeing none, we'll go to reports from the commissioners and staff.
Yeah, I would just like, got one item today. I would like to request have an item added to the agenda. This item I received at the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, and I was not able to get it on the agenda. So I'm going to request to have it added today. This item is a request to consider a comment from the Board of Mayor and Alderman to return the requirement in the 2045 comprehensive plan that requires all new homes built within the city of Tullahoma, low density residential zones, to have a garage, attached garage, and if the home is within 150 feet of the right of way, that the driveway be paved either with concrete or asphalt. The Planning Commission can either vote to approve this recommendation and return the stated requirement to the 2045 comprehensive plan, or deny the item and not include the stated requirement in the 2045 comprehensive plan. So I'd like to add that item to the agenda.
Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah, probably should. I'll make a motion to add that.
I'll second it.
Alrighty. All in favor to add this item to the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor? No? Okay. So passes unanimously. Oops. All right. Oh, so we're going to add that to number 4 under new business? Okay. That. So approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second, yeah.
Second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor? Okay. Passes unanimously. There's no old business, and then we will go into new business for subdivision plats. The first one up is the Holloway Stiegel Street final plat. The applicant will... Yeah, that's... Yep. If you just wanted to speak about it at all, or if you had anything to add.
Yeah, I plan to subdivide the property into 3 different lots.
Okay, thank you. Yep, that's it for any other questions. Do we do a public for this comment? Okay.
Yes.
So if there's anybody from the public that still wants to speak on this, you have time now. I think it's 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll go to staff report.
Yeah, this final plat serves to create 3 new legal lots of record by combining 2 lots and subdividing the resulting parcel. If you look at the final plat that is submitted, the resulting lot is actually a combination of 2, at least in the lots of record that we have on our map. That being said, lots 1 and lot 2 will have frontage on Stegall Street. Lot 3 will be accessed via a access and utility easement placed on lot 2 to serve that lot via that shared driveway easement. Outside of that, DAC has reviewed this plot as well as staff and found it to be compliant.
Alrighty. Looking for a motion.
Yeah, how do we do this one? Is this the Motion to approve or the motion to recommend?
I'm looking really quick. It's motion to
Approve.
approve, I believe,
Okay.
since this is a subdivision final plat.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Alrighty. So with that, any questions, comments? No? Okay. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor, nay. Passes unanimously. Next, we will go to the Jennifer Penn final plat. Applicant wants to speak. Yes, go ahead.
Jennifer Penn, minor division, just two separate deeds.
Okay.
And I'm here if you have any questions.
Alrighty, thank you.
Public hearing.
Yep. And then now it's a public hearing, opening a public hearing if anybody wants to speak on this agenda item. Seeing none, we'll go to staff report.
Yeah, the applicant is requesting to subdivide a parcel located within the Coffee County urban growth boundary. This parcel is 3.33 acres. They are looking to separate one portion of that parcel from the remaining parcel. If you look at the subdivision plat that you have submitted, the only outliers on this one is that the southernmost property boundary does follow an existing waterway wet weather conveyance drain. So that is why that southern lot line can be looks a little irregular. The remaining 14.63 acres will remain as a continuous parcel, and lot 1 will be a 3.33 acre newly created parcel. There are structures currently on this parcel, and I believe those structures are to remain unmodified. This is just separating this portion of the lot from the remaining parcel.
Alrighty, thank you. Go looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Any comment or discussion? No. Alrighty. With that being said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those not in favor, nay. All right, motion passes. And then next we will go to the Moore final plat located at 3730 Manchester Highway. If the applicant wants to speak.
Mandy Bobo with North Canton Associates. Mr. Moore just wants to carve off a small lot in order to be able to build a single-family dwelling.
All right, thank you. Now we'll open it up for public comment. If anybody has any comment on this agenda item. Seeing none, we'll go to staff report.
Yep. This is another request to create a new parcel in the Coffee County urban growth boundary area. This plat serves to create two new legal lots of record. The two new lots that will be created by this subdivision, one of them is 0.99 acres, the other one is 3.27 acres. The 3.27 acre lot currently has an existing one-story house on it that is to remain, and the 0.99 acre lot currently has a looks like a septic field area already on it and a gravel drive, but no structures. I believe the gravel drive will remain once this is subdivided.
It's fair warning, everybody's been kind of trouble connecting, so.
Oh, yeah. Apologize, everyone. I got caught up at something at work.
Let me finish this agenda item.
Yes, fine.
Okay. So, thank you for that. Looking for a motion on this.
Somebody can make a motion besides me tonight.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. All right. Ms. McGee has the motion. Second.
I'll second.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, Gregory. All right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, nay. All right. Passes unanimously.
Yep, looks like I am having an issue connecting.
Get you to there. So we're now on site plans.
I thought we were going to add.
Oh yeah.
The-
Sorry. While he's getting up. So the next thing we'll bring up is the number 4 on the new item to discuss the 2040 plan addition that came out of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. If you want staff on that.
Yeah. This was a comment stated at the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting that received a positive vote to be passed to the Planning Commission. That request was that the Planning Commission consider returning the requirement to the 2045 Comprehensive Plan that requires all new homes built within the city of Tullahoma, low-density residential areas, to have a attached garage as well as a paved driveway if the home was within 150 feet of the right-of-way, and that driveway shall be paved with either concrete or asphalt. The Planning Commission can either vote to approve this recommendation and return the stated requirement to the 2045 Comprehensive Plan, or they can deny this item and not include the requirement in the 2045 Comprehensive Plan.
So we have a 4-3 vote on this after a good bit of discussion. I know we've been through this topic multiple times now, but I haven't changed my mind, so I'm still against that. But
Me too. I just don't understand how it doesn't violate the fair housing.
I did get
And
a
isn't it
question
for
about
low
that.
and medium density?
Yeah, low and medium density.
Okay,
So we voting to put this on the agenda item, or have y'all?
We already
we've already done it.
Okay, so y'all moved on to this agenda item.
Yeah.
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 It's not on the agenda.
When you say low, yeah, so R1 and R2. Yeah.
Okay. I guess anybody want to give a motion to, that way we can discuss?
I don't want to put a motion on it. So the motion would be to send it, to change it. Otherwise, we're not changing it. So I don't want to change it, so I won't make a motion.
Would there be a motion to do nothing?
So the motion would either be a motion to approve the recommendation to make the change, or a motion to deny the recommendation to not make the change.
I make a motion to deny,
All right, we'll do that.
yeah, to deny the change.
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion.
So it's up to us. We're deciding
Yeah.
this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now the motion is to deny. So we're either going to vote to approve the denial or deny the denial. So comments.
just a comment there based on your.
Yeah, I agree.
Keeping it, no, I was just going to say, keeping in mind, the comprehensive plan can always be changed later.
Right.
Anytime. So anyway.
Right. Yeah, it's going to increase the cost of housing in Tullahoma.
Yeah.
I think, that's kind of worrisome. It's going to affect a lot of people. So it's something we all need to consider. I'd have a problem approving it.
We had some discussion where there was a denial that it would raise the cost of housing, and I just don't understand how that math works. So
Right.
I don't disagree at all. I think it's an excessive ask for the community to require that for them. So
At what point was it removed from the initial comprehensive plan?
we had a study session over
During
it,
the
and we
study
talked
session?
about it.
Yeah.
I don't think we did it at the study session. We talked about it at the study session, and then we made a recommendation to Mr. Luthi to take it out of the plan. I think we voted on that item.
Yeah, we did.
In one of our regular session meetings.
It's been a few months ago.
Yep.
So the committee that developed the plan felt like it should be in there.
The committee that developed it, yes, they thought it should be in there, and we thought otherwise. So, I'll ask this: is this an item that we should have asked for public comment on?
Yes, there should be a public hearing on this because this is part of an ordinance.
Well, I know we've already made a motion and everything, but I'll open it up to the public for anybody that has anything they would like to say on this agenda item. Go ahead.
Darcy Gross, lives in the city, I believe. Alderman, you're on the board. I'm here on behalf of the lawyer, on behalf of Joe Denby, and I would suspect some other individuals I've represented in the past. This was brought to my attention today, about an hour ago, that this is going to be on the agenda today. And having spoken with Mr. Denby and others, the aspect of making a requirement for builders and even future homeowners to have a garage and pave a driveway, like it was stated by Mr. Gregory, is going to cause the cost of housing to rise somewhat significantly. I was told even by upwards of $30,000 to $40,000. And taking that into account for first-time homeowners, owners, or even someone who is just trying to get their first house at 40 years of age, that's going to cause a significant setback and help slow growth in Tullahoma. Some of these lots, even with the setbacks that are required right now, you're required to put a garage on that. You just couldn't do it. This would be our request that this motion not be passed at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this agenda item? All right. Bring it back to the board.
This is just the comprehensive plan. It's not the
Yes.
new zoning.
Right.
This would not take effect immediately.
It's not
but it would
binding
be on the
at all.
on the plan, which would not necessarily be binding, but if it comes up, we are supposed to look at the comprehensive plan as a guidance of what we should do. It's not 100%. That's exactly what we should do, but that's really what we should be looking at as our guidance of how we. So if we put it in there, that's something that we probably should do, but it's not set in stone. No.
Yeah, I don't think you can make that a requirement. I mean, housing affordability is at an all-time high right now. Young people are struggling to get into a house. I don't think you make that requirement.
Okay.
That's where I stand on it.
And the reason for having it is to just beautify Tullahoma, to make sure that
That's basically the
there's
argument that's been made.
Yeah.
standard to be met by even the lowest
Does
cost.
anybody have any opposing comments? If not, then I'll just go ahead and call the vote.
Just explain what we're voting on to make sure we get
Vote
it right.
yes to deny. Vote no to deny the denial. That's the motion, is to deny this.
Yeah.
So if you want to vote to deny it, vote for the agenda item.
To deny the requirement.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right. All those in favor of the denial?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes for the denial. All right. Next on the item, you said we're on section B, site plans.
The Tullahoma.
The Wagner shop
Yeah.
building.
Yep. All right. Item 9B, Wagner Park site plan. Request for the Planning Commission to approve a site plan. Purpose of this site plan is to add a municipal shop building to Wagner Park. The applicant is JP Kraft in the city of Tullahoma. I'll hand it over to y'all.
Hello, I'm JP, the Parks and Recreation Director for the city. We're going to build about a 5,000 square foot shop at Wagner Park with a 2,000 square foot overhang. The purpose is to take care of some of our mowers, tractors, implements, keep them out of the weather. Terry Hirschman is here from C&H Contractors. He's the one that's going to build the building.
I think we're good for now. If we have any questions, we'll ask for it. Thanks, guys. Let me pull up the paperwork here. Scroll down. Here we go. All right. Staff.
Even though this is a municipal project, this project still is required to comply with all of our rules and regulations. So this is before you today for its approval on that site plan. Once the site plan is approved, the Parks and Recreation Department will pull a building permit, which will allow them to begin construction on this project. This item has gone through a review at our Development Advisory Committee. The city engineer reviewed it. Our MS4 stormwater representative reviewed it. TUA has reviewed it. All applicable parties have given this plan a review the same way we would review any outside permits or plans that have been submitted to our department. There are a couple comments from our Development Advisory Committee that will need to be included on the approval of this project. But outside of those, this project was found to be compliant with our planning and engineering standards. As stated by JP, this item is to build I believe it's a 5,000 square foot shop with a 2,000 square foot covered area. To meet regulation, there is an ADA accessible parking spot that will be provided, and this structure is proposed to utilize a septic area on the site. We've spoken with TUA, and they have advised that sewer is not available, so that septic area will be serving this site. And outside of that, all other comments from our DAC members were that this project is compliant and ready to be approved.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Luthi. Public comments? None. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Discussion.
Guys been needing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Hope it's going to be a big benefit for the city in the long run. We've been renting a building we could have built this building twice now for the amount of rent we paid. And the rent keeps going up, so it's nice to have it over at that location.
All right. No other discussion. Call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Oh, lost it. Move on to the next agenda item. Pull it up. It does not. Hold on. Getting used to this iPad. Is that the last site plan? I thought I saw more in the.
Yeah, I think that's it. And
Okay.
then the next one's
Item 9C 1. Project title is Christy Schubert rezoning request. This is for the Planning Commission to provide a comment to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen regarding the rezoning of 704 Cedar Lane and its neighboring unaddressed parcel. Current zoning is R1. Proposed is C2. Property size is 1.1 acres. And if the applicant would like to come up and speak.
Hi, I'm Christy Brown-Serber. I'd like to zone my property C2 to sell due to its adjoining several other commercial properties.
All right. Thank you. If we have any more questions, we'll ask. All right. I'll turn it over to staff.
Yeah. This applicant is requesting to have her property located at 704 Cedar Lane and its neighboring parcel rezoned from R1 to C2. The reason for that request, as you know, is that Cedar Lane intersection has quite a bit of construction going on, and her property is right next to the health department building. Her property, as a residential property, is losing viability due to that high level of construction and commercial development. So the applicant is seeking a rezoning to have that property rezoned from R1 to C2, which would be more viable for its location and where it is currently situated than the R1 property. The neighboring parcel, you will see there are two rezoning requests in there. The neighboring parcel has been treated as an extension of 704 Cedar Lane and will be rezoned, and I am assuming sold with 704 Cedar Lane. Even though those are two distinct parcels, they've been treated as one parcel, and I believe they'll be sold together. And staff recommends sending a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and to consider the current development at that Cedar Lane intersection when reviewing this parcel.
Okay, thank you. Anybody from the public that would like to speak on this agenda item? All right, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion.
motion to send a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Motion from Hall. Second from... All right. Sorry, I write slow. All right, discussion.
Just a couple of questions for you. Is this I drive by 1,000 times a day, I guess, or it was when I was living on that side of town. Is it that's fine. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yes, to answer, that would be great.
So this chair just randomly decides to go down. It's just like a topic. Now I know why you moved this chair.
Uh-huh.
So is that the one that has the beauty?
Yes.
Is the
hair salon.
hair salon? Is that under like a home allowance there?
It's in the very back.
No, I knew that, but I mean, zoning wise, I guess that's, I mean, I know it's allowed use for personal residence. And so you're kind of already using it for commercial somewhat now anyway.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point. We've had, get myself in trouble here. We've had some members of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen kind of express a concern about eliminating R1 lots. So just be aware of that when you come to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Just be thinking about the case you want to make for that, assuming it passes here tonight. I can certainly understand why you want to do it with all that construction in there. And when you're done, it's going to be a wide road, and it's just going to be a ton of traffic stepping right there. So good luck with you and all that. But just wanted to make that comment.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is there anybody else that has any questions for the applicant?
Well, my question is, you got the gas station right on the left. It's been there a long time. Is that right?
I'm sorry.
It's right next to a gas station on Wilson Avenue.
No, that's the
County Health
that's the
Department.
Health
that was
Department.
the old health department building there.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right behind the health department.
It's right behind it.
I see. I guess my question is, where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
You know, if you zone yours commercial, what's the neighbor going to do? What's their neighbor going to do? That's my only question.
Yeah.
You know, where do you draw the
I
line?
thought about that too. But across the street, pretty much, you got the church there. I mean, within some distance of that intersection, it makes certain sense to me to allow a little bit of that. Cedar Lane in general is, of course, really commercial. North of there, south of there, it's a lot of residences.
Right.
And so, yeah, at some point there, we got to draw a line, but that one seems reasonable to me. I don't know. We don't have any guidance on that, do we?
It seemed like the unaddressed lot could be the boundary.
It's been a
Buffer.
hair salon for a long time too, hasn't it?
It's a single. It's just me. It's only one person.
Okay.
I work by appointments only, so it's just a single salon owner.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But it's been there for a long.
Yeah,
A
since
long time.
20 I mean, since 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Judgment call.
I would think being on Cedar Lane, you know, it's a major thoroughfare to some degree. Commercial's adequate for that road. It's not like it's in the middle of subdivision. Once we get the comprehensive plan passed, one of the next things to do is to relook at our future land use map. And if I had to guess, it's probably something that we would look at through that whole road right there.
Yeah.
Is a mixed use or some kind of commercial use through there. I see it being used less in the future for residential uses. So in my mind, all down Cedar Lane fairly well. Commercial is not out of what it should be.
Just for reference, I know we've talked about it some, and we don't know how we're going to do it yet. But the goal is to get Cedar Lane widened, especially the north part, because that's where everything's going right now.
Right.
And then phase 2 would be the southern part, all the way down to Lincoln Street. If you make that 3-lane, all the more argument for what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, your main roads, your main arterials or whatever, should be more prominent, commercial versus residential. So I think we've have a decent amount of residential lots in the community. Commercial does not seem out of the ordinary. Do you have any input in that, Mr. Luthi?
Yeah, if especially if Cedar Lane is looking to be widened, one of the better ways to obtain the necessary right of way to widen that is when a property is developed commercially and that site plan is submitted. Our Public Works Department can request an increase in that right of way and a dedication along that frontage. If that property is not ever developed or modified, it becomes difficult to obtain that right of way. So allowing these properties to be zoned commercial and a site plan to be submitted, if a Cedar Lane widening project is seen in the near future or something that is on our radar, when that site plan is submitted, we can actually get an easement and a dedication for that right of way, so that when that road is widened, we don't have to worry about trying to obtain that right of way from the property owners. Another thing I would like to mention is that in our zoning ordinance, it does state that our zoning districts should try to follow natural breaks, those natural breaks being roads, waterways, natural features, topography. If you look at Cedar Lane, as soon as it gets north of Trinity Lane, it switches over to being C2 commercial. South of Trinity Lane, it's R1 residential. 704 Cedar Lane is actually north of that Trinity Lane. It would line up with the C2 zoning district that the church at 705 Cedar Lane is zoned. A small portion of the unaddressed parcel would be south of Trinity Lane, but if that is included with 704 Cedar Lane, this would be, if we were trying to create a natural break on that Trinity Lane road, this parcel would most likely, since it's predominantly north of Trinity, would be included in that C2 zone.
And we've got the storage facility right behind the back corner, right? So, can you remind me, for the sake of the public, probably what all can be put on C2?
Yeah. So our C2 zone, and I'll pull that up for you right now.
Another question, kind of piggybacking on that, was what would be the differences between C2 and C3?
Yeah, let me pull that up. So our C2 zone is our general commercial district. What that's going to permit, and these are just, I'll go through the list of by right developments. There are a couple uses that are going to be uses permitted upon review. Those would have to come before the Planning Commission, and notice will have to be sent out if those are to be permitted. C2 permits any uses permitted in C1. C1 permits business or financial services, commercial or retail sales and services, drinking establishments, family and group daycares, public libraries, public services, utility stations, restaurants, microbreweries, and indoor recreation. C2 is also going to include automotive sales, automotive fuel dispensing facilities, automotive repair, automotive self-service, motor fuel dispensing facilities, contractors' offices, commercial printing, commercial schools, community commercial centers, cultural institutions, fast food restaurants, group care facilities, hospitals, hotels, light commercial, minor automotive repair, neighborhood commercial centers, outdoor recreation, rehab centers, religious, cultural, and fraternal activities, theaters, self-storage warehouses, and microbreweries. So that's going to, for the most part, catch any and all commercial uses that are proposed. There are a few outliers that don't fit in. One of those was actually resolved by the Board of Zoning Appeals, making a determination that was car washes. Standalone car washes did not have their own defined use. They were permitted as a supplementary use to an automotive fuel dispensing facility. That has since been resolved by the Board of Zoning Appeals. But outside of that, most, if not any, proposed use that is a commercial use will fit into one of those categories in our C2 district. And our C3 district is that hybrid zone. That one permits single-family and two-family dwellings, townhomes, and multifamily developments, accessory buildings, bed and breakfast establishments, boarding houses, commercial retail sales and services, community centers, convenience stores, dry cleaning pickups, family and group daycares, gyms and fitness centers, funeral homes, government offices, laundromats, libraries, medical offices, places of worship, public utility station and public services, restaurants, and schools. So the C3 zone, the primary way where it differentiates itself from the C2 zone is it does not allow some of the automotive uses like car lots or car repairs, and it does limit some of the larger commercial items. C3 zone would not permit like a multi-tenant, like a strip mall or any other large commercial use, but it is pretty comprehensive with the commercial retail sales and services. That's a pretty broad category that, for the most part, applicants that we have that come to us asking for permission to utilize that C3 zone, their use will fit into one of those categories. It's pretty uncommon that we get one that doesn't fit unless it's one of those larger scale automotive uses or something that is a gas station without a convenience store, those would not be permitted. But for the most part, the uses are better defined as light commercial.
Yeah, the reasoning of asking that is it's a current mixed use between a resident and a commercial now, and it would lose, with C2, it's going to lose the residential portion of that. It will essentially have to be used for commercial and no residential going forward, given its past. So, just a comment. I'm fine with it being commercial. But. All right. Any other comments on this item?
My comment is that this unaddressed lot seems to be what was intended to be the buffer zone between residential and commercial, if you're looking at the satellite image.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was intended. It's serving a purpose.
Serving it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all you have?
And as Mr. Luthi pointed out, above, north of Trinity Lane is commercial, and then below that is not. So,
But if you try to enforce it on that, it's going to make for an awful small commercial lot for her.
right.
All right. No other comments. I'll call the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Keep on moving. Get my spot here. Should have grabbed me an agenda on my way in. All right. Moving on to item 9D1, a zoning ordinance update, a request for the Planning Commission to review a proposed change to the Tullahoma zoning ordinance to clarify requirements for carports and to update the title for Planning and Development Director. I look to staff.
Yeah, this is a two-part revision to our zoning ordinance. The first part is that our Tullahoma zoning ordinance references accessory structures, but it does not differentiate open-sided carports from other accessory structures. In order for the carports to be able to be installed and function as they are intended, the requirements for open-sided carports will need to be separated from accessory structures. The primary concern that we have is that a driveway is permitted to be installed 2 feet off the property line. However, an open-sided carport must be 10 feet off the property line. The open-sided carport also must be separated 10 feet from the house or other structures. This can create some difficulty because as a carport is intended to be used, it is to be placed on the driveway next to the home. This is a point of contention that I have gotten from many of our residents, where in order to purchase the carport and have it installed on their property, it has to be situated in such a way that nullifies the intent and the purpose of having a carport, which is to be able to access your car from your home underneath a cover. I would like to remind you that this is exclusively for open-sided carports. These are carports that are just a roof or covering. These do not have sides or a door on them. This is only for the open-sided carports. The second edit that is proposed is to change all references to the Community Development Department and Community Development Director to Planning and Development Department and Planning and Development Director, respectively. There are a few items in our zoning ordinance that delegate responsibilities to our Community Development Department and Community Development Director. A couple of those that stuck out to me were reports on development advisory comments for review of plans are to be made by the Community Development Director. Those are not made by the Community Development Director. They're not handled by the Community Development Department. It's handled by the Planning Department. So I'd like to request an update to that terminology to have it align with how our processes currently operate. In our considerations, a definition for open-sided carports will be added to the definition table. Section 503 of the Tullahoma zoning ordinance will be modified to add the following requirements for open-sided carports. Open-sided carports are exempt from the 10-foot separation requirements from other accessory and principal structures. This exemption does not preclude open-sided carports from needing any inspections or reviews by any other party. Open-sided carports are exempt from the setback requirements listed above and in Table TZ1. However, they are required to comply with the 2-foot driveway setbacks listed in the street curb sidewalk design standards.
I'll make a motion for approval for discussion purposes.
I second.
All right, motion second.
So on the carports, those are almost always metal aluminum carports, I assume.
Correct.
So like, there's like no real danger there then. You're not putting a bunch of combustibles up against the house.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
Now, is this including attached and detached?
So per our regulations, a carport can't be attached.
Okay.
So that creates some difficulty in placing the carport next to the building. If it's not attached, it has to be separated by 10 feet, which can be troublesome when you're trying to install the carport as it's intended.
Is that what you were asking, or you were asking, is this a separate definition from like a carport that's built into the house?
Yeah, I was seeing if they were all falling in the same definition or separated. So if it's attached to the house, that would be a completely separate issue.
If the carport is merely an extension of the house, it would be treated as if it was part of the house. This is specifically targeting the open-sided carports, like the ones that you can purchase in kits or have assembled on your property that are typically metal and are open-sided and are normally treated as accessory structures, but strict application of the accessory structure requirements makes them difficult for them to operate as intended.
What was the original purpose for the 10-foot rule?
The 10-foot separation is for accessory structures. That ranges
Can you
from.
give examples of those besides carport?
Is it a fire hazard or what?
So
was
the 10-foot separation from the property line is for setback compliance. The 10-foot separation from the structure is partially for fire compliance and codes compliance. Now, this change does not preclude any compliance or regulations with the codes department or the building department. Any and all requirements from those departments will still have to be complied with. One of those that can be problematic is enclosing the carport does have different requirements. And this regulation specifically states that you will not be precluded from complying with those. This is simply for open-sided carports to allow them to be closer to the property line in the way that our driveways are permitted to be closer to the property line.
But what are some other examples of accessory buildings? We're talking about like,
So some of the other examples of
detached
accessory
garage.
structures are sheds, shop buildings, pool houses, garden structures, large pergolas. Those items are accessory structures. Basically, any structure that is not the primary residence that serves as a secondary function to the primary residence would be determined to be an accessory structure.
so we were lumping in these kind of carports with those in the past, and that's why they have these different setbacks, and we're basically saying those aren't the same thing now.
Yeah, we never had a separate definition. There was just an accessory structure, and that accessory structure definition grabbed any and all structures that were to be added, and the term structure was pretty loose in its definition. So some things like carports that, or awnings and other things, and small covers like that, that if they were not an actual feature of the home but were added, would be treated as if it was an accessory structure, and the placement of them would make it very difficult for them to serve their intended purpose.
Yeah, 10 feet would defeat the purpose of having it.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a distance.
You've run into this several times, it sounds like.
Yeah, this has been brought to my attention by many residents who would call and request. More often than not, they would already have the carport scheduled to be placed. They would be notified that they would need a building permit due to the size. They would submit the drawings of where they would like the carport, and I'd have to tell them that that's not going to comply of where the carport is placed, and it would lead to some frustration because the carport is intended to go at the end of the driveway, but if the driveway is built more than or less than 10 feet away from the property line, the carport can't go at the end of the driveway.
Seems like a no-brainer to me on this one.
Yeah.
Can really do some good here.
Any other discussion?
I'm just puzzled why it was every 10 feet. catch-all.
All those
like you
in
said.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Kicking you through.
All right. That concludes our agenda items for the Planning Commission. We're here. And we will open up the Board of Zoning Appeals. All right, I'll call to order. Oh, yep. Reading approval of the minutes from the January 20th, 2026 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. We don't have.
That should say February.
I was gonna say,
Sorry.
it's confusing.
Maybe I pulled up the wrong one.
No, it's. I
There-
think it's just.
I have had some difficulty with files that I have created, and later on they'll be reverted.
It was just a mistype on the.
Oh yeah,
Top.
Yeah, because the top has.
at the
wrong-
top says February. Yeah. Okay. Well, reading approval of the minutes for the February Board of Zoning Appeals meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion,
Second.
second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Get a motion?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. We have no old business. We'll move on to new business. Item A, Brendan Tate, variance request, a request from Brendan Tate to obtain relief from the strict application of the fence height restriction contained within the zoning ordinance. The subject property is 402 North Polk Street. Applicant, please come and talk. The applicant here. All right. I assume this is like our zoning, and are we allowed to vote on this without them present?
Well, our zoning and our planning commission bylaws do dictate that if the applicant is not present, the item is to be deferred. Our Board of Zoning Appeals does not have such requirements.
Okay.
I'd say we deal with this one because it looked pretty straightforward to me. If we don't have a rule
All right.
against it.
Well, we'll just proceed, and we will move on to staff comments.
The applicant is seeking a variance to be granted to allow for the relief from the strict application of the fence height requirements set forth in the Tullahoma zoning ordinance. Fences are only permitted to be a maximum of 3.5 feet in the front yard, and this property is a corner lot. Each yard abutting a street is considered a front yard. Fence height restrictions are put in place to allow for safe operation of motor vehicles. Allowing a fence over 3.5 feet in the yards abutting a street can block sight triangles and make for unsafe driving conditions. However, the impact of this specific fence would be minimal. I've looked at this property of where the fence actually is. The fence is behind the house. There's approximately 54 feet from the front of the fence, or the termination of the fence, to the intersection of Polk Street and Grizzard Street. So if you're operating a motor vehicle along Polk and you get up to Grizzard, the fence is not in your blocking your line of sight. And if you're driving down Grizzard to Polk Street, the fence is also not in your line of sight. This is an existing fence that has been there for quite some time. The applicant recently replaced the fence, which is what called this into question, because the fence was new. The applicant is seeking the variance, and they have provided an attached document that details how they believe that their variance request meets the requirements. And I would like to advise that for fences, we do not require a permit.
So it looks like he's asking for a variance just for Grizzard Street. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And no staff comment on these items, right? Correct?
No.
Or no public comment, sorry.
No.
No, I didn't think so. All right.
It already shows it down there.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. I don't know what.
Okay.
Motion
Got
to
a motion?
Second. Second.
All right, discussions.
So I just say, I know y'all can't see it, maybe I shouldn't, but if you pull up in Google Maps driving down there, I've driven by that place many times. There's an entire front yard where once you're up there to the stop sign, you can clearly see around the front yard without the fence blocking your view.
Yep.
It's nothing, not much to it.
I don't see this being much of a problem. It's essentially their backyard.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say there's a little typo in our agenda. It says south in the agenda, and it's north actually, because there's a 401 south as well, which is an empty commercial lot or something. So I was confused at first.
I was as well. I was like, why is there a question on this? But
Any other comments? All right, no other comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Move on to item 5B. Project title. I'm probably going to butcher this, but Gerwie variance request. Sorry if I butchered it. Applicant is Rick. Request for the Board of Zoning Appeals to grant relief for the strict application of front yard setback requirement. Zoning is C2. Property is 1.4 acres at 410 Polk Street. The applicant is seeking a variance to grant that's background, sorry. I will open it for the applicant. This applicant is not here as well. All right, we'll move on to staff comment.
Mr. Gerby is seeking a variance from the strict application of the front yard setbacks for his property. This property is a bit of a unique one. It is bound on two sides, one of those sides being bound by Polk Street and the other side being bound by Volney Street. And the rear of the property is bound by the railroad property. They own quite a large stretch there of the area behind his property. For quite some time, for about the last 20 years, this lot has been fenced off along the property lines. It has been utilized for the storage of large semi-truck trailers and other equipment. The entire lot has been utilized for this purpose. Mr. Gerby approached me and asked what it would take to have the property's use changed from being the storage of large trailers to a self-storage lot. He presented some storage containers that he would like to have placed on the lot, and those storage containers would be able to be rented out. However, because of the change of use, this property would go from storage to self-storage. With that change of use, he would have to comply with the regulations set forth in our zoning ordinance, one of those being the front yard setbacks. Because this property is a corner lot, that 35-foot setback would be applied along the property edge against Volney Street, as well as the property edge against Polk Street. Once those front setbacks are applied, the usable area of this lot is severely diminished. The applicant is seeking a variance to allow him to continue using the lot as he has done for 20 years, which is using it from property edge to property edge. I reviewed this property. The side that is against the railroad property, I see no issue in a reduction on those setbacks, as it's a very large swath of rail yard owned properly, and then the actual rail lines are behind that. And then looking along Volney Street, there's quite a decent setback from the actual pavement. There's even some landscaping that's in place there, providing a decent enough buffer, as well as the neighboring property looking across the street. I don't feel like there would be much impact to the adjacent property owners if we were to allow this property to continue being used as it currently is.
What's that zoned as now?
This is currently zoned, let me check here,
C2?
C2. Unfortunately, I don't have my
It
internet.
almost looks
up,
like
so.
industrial property in that location, but
And in the picture you have here, the red is what he's asking for here, right?
That's what he's
the red
currently got,
lines.
I think.
That red line is the boundaries of the lot.
Okay.
And that is what he's asking the fences to be able to be put at. Correct.
So he's asking to be able to utilize, basically to have a 0-foot setback, so you can utilize the entire parcel, not having to keep the structure set back 35 feet.
Which is
However-
what he's had the past 20 years.
Correct. He has parked the storage of the vehicles and the trailers have been stored all along the property line, along the fence.
The storage units he's going to bring in are mobile storage units anyway.
Yes, if you'll look, there's a plan that he has submitted. These are 8x20 portable storage containers. No construction is needed for the placement of these units. They're brought in fully assembled and just set on site. So as far as the appearance of the use of the property, it will go from storing large metal containers and trailers to storing large metal containers.
But the new arrangement would have them all side by side, blocking the view entirely, right, as far as coming on Volney Street?
Correct. On the proposed change, there will be an entrance on Polk Street. I don't believe there's an entrance proposed on Volney Street or an entrance proposed to the rail property. However, there will be remaining landscaping along Volney Street, but it would not be able to see into the storage yard from Volney Street, and there is currently a fence there. And if this is to be switched to self-storage, we do have regulation that requires that fence is opaque and site obscuring. Whether he decides to do that by inserting plastic slats or applying a screening or landscaping to that fence is up to the applicant to decide, but the site will be obscured into the property.
But it doesn't matter if it's self-storage or the portable, right? It's the same requirement?
Correct. This would be deemed self-storage.
That's my problem with it. There'll be portable units, but we'll be deeming as if he was constructing permanent units,
Right,
correct?
they're not the same.
And so he would be able to come back after this and build permanent units as well
Right
because
on the
we're
property
granting
line.
it right on the property
Yeah.
line, which is, I don't know, fair to others. The lot is smaller. You could put them, but you could probably only put one section through the middle of it and meet the requirements. But he still could build something, I would think.
Right.
Would he have to seek approval for the lot line if he actually built something?
So this variance would be tied to the property. This variance would give a relief from the strict application of the front setback here along Volney and along Polk Street. Once that is applied, that variance is tied with the property. You can put a condition in that variance that is only for the use of self-storage containers, and it cannot be used to build a building on that property. But without that condition, you are correct. This could be changed, and a structure could be built, and there is a variance that will be tied with the property that does provide relief from those setbacks.
As long as we can put a condition behind it, in my mind, that it has to be restricted to the mobile.
Yeah.
I think that's more realistic. I just don't want to open it up for him to be able to use a 0 setback for anything.
Yeah.
That's
Kind of bending the rules, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't see undue stress enough to allow that to happen.
I agree.
Okay.
What about the strict findings of fact for variances? We didn't discuss them on the last case, but
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's alleged difficulty or hardship, none.
be a hardship for that usage, wouldn't it?
What's from the
Well,
applicant
Oh,
himself.
I'm sorry.
He's been able to use it for mobile units up to this point. And because of a technicality, he won't be able to use it for mobile units of this certain type because of a technicality. And I think that in my mind would fall under that category of undue stress. Now, I don't think that should allow him to put permanent fixed buildings in there, but he should be able to continue to put mobile assets on the facility up to the property line.
The only thing I like, at least with like 18 wheelers and stuff, at least you know they're more or less going to move somewhat easily. Where if you throw in, I don't know even how many that is, storage units, they might sit there for 20, 30 years. And
The van trailers could sit there for 20, 30 years too.
well, that's true, but
You can go in there and take a rollback and I'm sure pull these units out from
Yeah.
the way it looked to me.
That's what
Yeah.
it looks like.
So they're not asphyxiated to the ground at all. No foundation or anything like that. Any other comments? Will we need to make an amendment to this to be able to put that restriction on here?
Yeah, so the current variance as it stands is just a relief from the front yard setback requirements, front and rear yard, front, rear, and side yard setbacks. You need to make an amendment to modify that variance request to be providing relief from the front, side, and rear setbacks exclusively for the use of the property as a self-storage yard or a self-storage warehouse. And that way it cannot be used for offices or a commercial building. It is only for the use that the applicant has indicated on this variance request form, which is a self-storage building.
Okay. So to move forward, someone will need to make an amendment to our motion here.
Yeah. But that amendment needs to be not just for self-storage, but for self-storage trailers.
Portable self-storage unit.
Portable self-storage.
Portable
Yeah.
self-storage.
Thank
Yeah,
units.
you.
not permanent structures.
Yeah, I think the
Right,
portable
'cause-
is what's
Because we don't
important.
want him to come in and build permanent self-storage buildings.
No.
Right.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to approve the variance with the condition that it only applies for self-storage portable units.
Samuel, what was his reasoning for the variance?
Well,
'Cause don't you
hold
have to
on,
give a
let's
specific
try and get a
reason?
second real
Yeah.
quick before we continue discussion.
I'll second that.
All right. So I guess-
All right. All those in favor?
Hold on. He was ahead.
I want to know the reason.
He had a
I'm just
question.
curious.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, the reason being is that the applicant was looking to switch the use of the lot. He had come by to talk to myself and Mr. Kimbrough about that. After he talked to Mr. Kimbrough indicated he should probably speak with me because he would be changing the use. I spoke with him about what he wants to do with the property. Once I gathered what he intends to do with the property, I let him know that that would be a change of use. With that change of use, any nonconformity would go away, and you have to comply with the current ordinance. We then drafted up, or the applicant drafted up a plan using those 35-foot setbacks and saw that it would basically remove all usable area of the property, and he would not be able to put hardly any units on it when he currently utilizes the entire property for storage of those tractor trailers.
Yeah. Okay. I
And
got
that's when he decided that he would like to request that variance.
All right, everybody. All right. Remember that we're voting on the amendment, not the item at this point. So
Okay, sorry.
all those in favor of the amendment? Aye.
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 All those opposed? All right. Any more discussion on the item with the amendment? All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
So you're opposed?
Yep.
All right. 5-1. Motion passes 5-1. And that concludes our agenda items. All right. That concludes our meeting. We're adjourned. Thank you.